Alright, we're live.
Hello.
I don't think anyone's on yet.
Hello, students.
Oh, no? Okay.
What?
No, not.
And starting up. Alright, it's on now.
Hello, students. I'd like you to let me know in the chat or the comments that you're here.
We'll text Liz.
And then you can text Liz any questions that you might have.
If you don't have an account.
And are you zooming anything? No. Okay. All right.
But they can text me, the Pink Karate Girls who don't have an account.
So, Pink Karate Girls, you can text Miss Liz.
Questions.
Any questions? Now, are you going to be doing double duty there? You'll be taking texts on your phone and you'll be reading questions off the comments
Yep.
of the chat. All right. Citation, attention, and bow.
You can wait a little bit. We're still waiting for people.
All right. How many people do we have on so far?
Two.
Two. Hello, two. Who are you?
Oh, I have to check the chat. I really cannot see from the thing. Two watching. No one has commented yet.
All right. Let's start out. I want everybody to go inward parry, outward parry, pivot into a forward bow. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Make sure you keep your elbow down, your hand up. Your forearm's going to protect your ribs. Your hand and upper arm are going to protect your face. All right. Let's bring our knees up. Get warmed up. All right. All right, Mr. Chase. How many people do we have?
Three.
Three.
Mom is running the chat. So they're either people that haven't commented who they are, or they have kids accounts and that's why they can't hear your headphones. Oh, no, do it.
All right, Mr. Chase, when you get your uniform on. All right. So, Lila and Caroline, are you here? All right, let's go through Lila's list.
Chloe is on.
Chloe.
Cameron.
Shh. We don't
Hello.
say people's last names online.
Oh, Chloe and Cameron. Well, I was trying to. The whole world's coming now. Good thing we don't cry.
All right. Chloe, what's your burning question?
No, you're looking at the thing?
Yeah.
Natalie, Josh, and Earl are here.
Hi, Earl.
Ask Natalie what her burning question is.
You just did.
What's the first technique?
First technique on Lila's list is cross of destruction. Just waiting.
I didn't realize you're gonna be on me so soon. Usually it's like the first 15 minutes I get this. Like, sit down.
Just hit. What is this thing I just touched? Jeez.
What?
What's this?
I don't know what you just. It looks like you opened up the. click on that.
Everybody always wants to know how I do this.
Alright.
No matter what cool karate thing I show them, it's always, oh, how do you do that? And just go watch some old Three Stooges episodes. Okay, so cross of destruction is a two-hand grab with choke from behind. Now this is not a sophisticated choke, all right? It could be a person who's really angry with you or is running up trying to get a handle on you or pull you back, okay? So the first thing you need to do is set your weight. You gotta get those hips low, all right? If he tries to pull me, see how I pulled his upper body forward? All right, now, from there, grab those wrists, get down low. All right, duck under the bridge. At this point, you're in a forward bow stance. From there, you fire that kick to the knee, and then use his arm to break his own other arm. All right, okay. So let's do it from here. All right, so 1, 2, kick, and break. All right, now, advanced students, if you want to get tricky, right, you can drop forward and break both of his elbows over your shoulders. All right, so as he grabs, drop, and then pull. All right, and hyperextend both his elbows. Then you can go under from there, okay? All right, now, fall across takes us the other way. So, cross of destruction, we ducked under the bridge, see? Fall across, we're gonna step around and out. And then from there, we're gonna break both of his elbows with a knee, front kick that knee, and elbow to the head. All right, so first move's identical. Second move though, instead of going clockwise, you go counterclockwise and check him down. Knee up into his arms, compounded front kick into the knee, elbow to the head. All right, one more time. Grab, go out. Knee, kick, and elbow. All right, so when would you use one rather than another? It depends on the situation. If you're in open space, you could do either one, but what if you can't go forward? What if the person grabbed you and, come on, pushed me up against the wall? So now I can't do falling cross. I have to do cross of destruction. See? All right, so it's all determined by environment and situation. All right, any questions on cross of destruction or fallen cross? All right, let's take that exact same technique from the front now. So, Mr. Chase, I'm gonna need you. Then we'll start out with thrusting wedge. Now, when the person's in front of us, right? There's this circle right here, all right? And we can cut that into two hemispheres, a northern hemisphere and a southern hemisphere. If our hands are down and he tries to grab me, they go up. If my hands are up and he tries to grab me, they go down, okay? So if your hands are down, you're not going to come all the way around and try to do a hands up technique, all right? So 4 basic starting positions for our hands: higher than his, lower than his, one on each side, both on the same side. And what we do is going to be dependent upon where our hand position is, and then we have 3 body positions: left side forward, squared off, or right side forward, okay? And depending on whether we're left side forward, right side forward, that can make a significant difference on what technique we will be able to do from there as well. All right, some techniques can be done from multiple starting positions, other ones not so much. All right, so as he comes in, I'm gonna press my hands together, and I'm gonna shoot those hands off of the claw to face, check that arm down as I snap an elbow up into the chin, claw to face, and if you wanna take him down, slide down to his chest, go up under the throat, and then do a takedown, put him on the side. All right. All right, so 1, press your hands together, shoot them into his face. Don't go out here, he doesn't have 3 heads, he just has 1. So your elbows flare out, your hands staying tight. Get a death grip on that wrist, snap that head back, claw. From there you can drop down to the chest, get in under that chin, step across and do the takedown. All right, now let's look at plan B. All right, so he really has this thing locked on now, and I'm like, and nothing's happening. Take your hands like this, like you're cupping them, and blast as hard as you can up into his face. All right, now I'm gonna go a little high so I don't actually hit Chase in the face. I'm choosing his forehead as my target, and I'm aiming at his hairline, okay? So, but you guys would be down here. All right, so boom, all right. You can do the same thing from there, or from here, boom, 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 boom. All right, pop, pop, pop. All right. So now, he grabs me. Again, like we talked about last time, he can't apply pressure in every direction at once. You see? So if he's trying to hold me in place, I can move him by stepping and dropping my weight. All right? And then I can actually do any type of defense off punch from there where you're on the outside. So he grabs you by the throat, I can go step back, boom, get right into the thundering hammers. Grabs the side, step, go into alternating maces. All right, so techniques work off more than one attack. All right, you can do the same technique off of 2, 3, 4, sometimes more. All right, okay. So as this person grabs, if your hands are up, then you hook down. All right, do hooking wings. All right, if your hands are up, cross them over. Right? All right. So lots of different things we can do. Don't get locked into thinking, oh, I have to do a specific technique, because you don't. You can take any of the techniques you know, any of the movement you've trained into your body, and apply it, okay? Bless you. I always make Mr. Chase sneeze. He must be allergic to me. All right. But just remember, the person isn't going to be able to apply pressure, bless you, in every direction at once. All right, so you need to be able to tell by feel, is he trying to push you? Is he trying to pull you? Is he holding you in place? Where is he creating a line of tension, all right, in his arms and his shoulders? All right, you should be able to feel that just from the grip on your neck. All right, unless he's very good at relaxing, you're going to feel what he's trying to do, all right? And you can use that against him. All right, Miss Liz, how many people do we have on in the class now?
Well, 4, 5. Some people can't Josh, Earl, Natalie, Loey.
All right, does anybody have a question? All right, we will move on to the next one. All right, we did cross of destruction, we did thrusting wedge. All right, let's talk about windmill guard. Now, windmill guard, you're either squared off or you can have your left side slightly forward. So if you're in your ready stance, hey man, look, I don't want any trouble, then you're already in good shape. Now, as this punch comes in, our first parry is going to be to the wrist. Now, we have a rule that when you're on the outside, you always block at or above the elbow so this doesn't fold and you get crushed by his elbow. All right? Problem is that, man, that's having to get way the heck up there. That doesn't leave a lot of room for error. No margin for error. And what if he has a lot more range than I do? Okay, if he's longer than me, by the time I hit his elbow, this could, be there. So going directly for the elbow is sometimes problematic. So what we have to do is double up on our defense. The first one is going to deflect that with the parry. The second one's going to control the arm so it doesn't collapse into me. All right, so it's basically just an inward block, outward block combination. The inward block gets this offline, and then the outward block takes the elbow to control it. Then we're going to fire a roundhouse kick into the body. All right, so 1, 2, boom, boom, roundhouse kick. Now, from there, if you plant down into a reverse bowing kick, you've changed it into returning viper. Right, so we start out with windmill guard, 1, 2, 3, plant kick. Now it's returning viper, right? Or we go 1, 2, kick, and now it's circling serpent. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I just put stuff on the end of evading the storm. Okay, so as you can see, you can start with one situation and then segue into a different technique. All right, that's called grafting. And what we really want to do is just get really good at doing all the pieces of the technique so that if we find ourselves in a particular position, what we know will just come out. We won't have to think about what to do. Our body will just take the path of least resistance and do it automatically. Just like if you're really good at a sport, you do things automatically. You're not consciously thinking about what you're doing every single second. You're kind of in the zone and you're flowing and your body knows what to do because you've trained it really hard to do that thing, and that's what it will do because that's what you trained it to do. Under stress, your body will take the path of least resistance, which is why you have to change your defaults, right? From to, right? All right, so we always want to do something active and something substantial on our first move. We got to get rid of that flinch response because while you're busy flinching, you're not protecting anything and you've just lost initiative and you've lost the opportunity to protect you. Whoever gets hit first in a fight usually loses. So you don't want to get hit first. You want to make sure that if a hit has to be given, you're the one delivering it. All right? Okay. Any questions, Miss Liz?
Nope.
All right. All right, so now, let's talk about flashing mace. So flashing mace is a hands-up technique. Right, so we're here, again, we could be squared off, but why would we be if we don't have to be? It's always better to be sideways in a defensive position than standing square with your arms at your side. So now from here, hey, look, I don't want any trouble. He tries to shoot a punch right down the middle of my hands. All right, so I'm gonna take my head and my foot to 1030. My head's gonna be right above my foot, so I'm not leaning, okay? So as I come over here, I want my head to be here, all right? So leaving your head in the same space is why most people get hit, because they don't move their head, right? We already talked about how if your head's in one spot, he can close his eyes and then just repeatedly hit right on target because he knows exactly where your head is, right? So if you leave it there and you don't move it, he can hit you with his eyes closed. So now we talked last week about a punch can end up one of three places, right? It can end up outside my left, it can end up between my two arms, and it can end up outside my right. Now, sometimes this happens because this is how I planned it. Sometimes this happens as a whoops, okay? What are you gonna do? It depends on timing, it depends on how quickly you reacted, it depends on how fast the strike came in at you and how fast you reacted to it, and it also depends on how far away he was. All right. If you control distance and you're already in position, you should have a very good chance to make the punch end up where you want it to. If you don't have distance or you don't have reaction speed, then you have less of a chance of determining where this ends up. All right, so having said that, let's switch angles. As I step, his arm is going to end up between my two arms. So I'm here, boom. I'm going to catch his wrist with an extended outward block going backwards with my right hand. And I'm going to do an inward block right above the elbow with my left to snap that arm, hyperextend it, create pain, or maybe get a break in. All right, now from there, I'm going to step behind him. I see a lot of people, for some reason, try to go back in front of the guy. When you're behind him, yay, that's awesome, stay there. All right, so as you step behind him, blast him in the eye with a hammer fist. So, first thing you do is step offline, then you C-step. All right, so let's change that angle a little bit. Let's go from this diagonal. All right, so I go 1, 2, and then I keep on turning, all right, until I hit him with a palm to the shoulder and a chop to the kidney or the kidney shelf. This is a offensive application of universal block. Boom. Pop. All right, so as this comes in, hey man, I don't want to get in trouble. You break it, you hammer, you keep your rotation, then you check him down. Now, advanced students, if you can see, my left knee is checking right behind his right knee. All right, and I have this checked into his body. That brought his head forward so I can lift this back fist into his head. All right, boom. And that's where the base ends. All right, now from there, if I'm gonna add a takedown, I'm gonna do a little sweep, spin back fist through the kidney again, then I'm gonna do a push-pull to take him down. All right, and I'll be nice to Chase's head. Chase falls like a log. He never learned how to fall. He always goes boom. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, and take him down. All right. Any questions on
We have a new question.
flashing mace? Yeah, we have a question. Go.
Natalie would like to know, if you have a 6'4" guy choking a 5'6" guy, what do you do?
What are the relative musculatures and weights? Now, if you're short, if you're now wait, is the taller guy choking the shorter guy?
Yeah.
And how is he? Is it a two-hand choke? Is it a rear naked choke? Is it a figure four, completely locked in
No.
choke? What kind of choke is it?
Yeah, I know it's from Josh.
Yeah, we knew that.
I said, does the 5'6" guy deserve it? What kind of choke is it, Natalie? Or Josh?
All right, so come here, Chase. All right, so let me get, I think personally, it's worse to get choked by someone shorter than you than it is to get choked by someone taller than you, okay? And this is why I think that. Now, I don't think it's a good situation no matter how you slice it. And if the guy outweighs you by 100 pounds of muscle, I don't think there's anything you can do once you get to that point anyway, because you're going to be unconscious in like 8 to 12 seconds. And it may take longer than that to deliver enough energy into his body to make him let go because he's just so much bigger and stronger than you. But again, we're talking about training against the average person, not the 1 in 1,000 specimen who just is you know, huge and musculature, you know, and muscled, and for some reason wants to walk around choking people out. So, all right, so that, you know, that doesn't happen. You don't normally get attacked by that guy, all right? So, all right, so here's the thing. If you're shorter and you get that choke on, you have him bent back, you see? And as soon as someone's back is bent like this, they have no strength. Try to get out of this space. See? So if I can keep him, and I can even throw my hip in there, see, to keep his back arched, right? And he's not getting out. All right. Okay. So, but a taller guy, pretend you're 6 inches shorter, bend your knees. See, now when I grab him, he's totally balanced. He's not off balance, and it's harder for the taller guy to get him in an off balance position without lifting him off the ground. Okay, which is, you know, and a little advantage. He has all the rest of the advantages. You got one little tiny one. It's easier for you to stay balanced when he's taller than you than shorter than you. That's pretty much it. So, aside from that, you do everything you would normally
Theirs
do.
is off of, they want to know of a front choke. Prep.
This
Yes.
two-hand front choke.
Josh would like to know a smaller guy.
Boom.
His father basically choking.
Yeah, well, his dad's not 6'6". Come on. All
You
right.
didn't say 6'6".
6'4", sorry. All right. So, what are you afraid that you'll go like this and you won't be able to reach his face? Okay, well that's fine then. Hey, but that's supposed to be off a lapel grab, not a choke. So, or how about this?
Keep going.
Or, hey, made his contact swim. All right, or how about this? You gotta let go or I'm gonna break your elbow.
I don't know. I didn't know if I was.
See, that was close. He was like, ah. All right, so use your neck as a weapon. See? Use it as a locking point. All right? All right, so I can't do much on Chase if I hurt his elbow. All right, so right from here, you can step back on the diagonal, lock that in, roll this up and over, and then drive him down to the floor. All right? But don't bump. All right, so stay underneath. Right? If he grabs, get even lower. Hit him in the body. All right?
I didn't usually that.
All right. Sometimes, or if he's holding you in place, drop back like we were working on earlier. Just step back and drop. All right. So, all right. Next question. What do we got?
Natalie, does that answer, Josh, does that answer your question?
Now, of course, it's going to take some training and skill to be able to pull off any defense. You can't just practice it 3 times and expect it to work for you. You need to train it into your body. All right, can you guys come here, Chase? All right, next. As usual, I'm going through water like crazy. Chloe, do you have a question? All right, so let's talk about a low kimono and twin kimono and kimono grab. Right, so let's start off with one hand. Now again, if he's locked this up tight, I can pull him off balance just by stepping. All right, now, advanced students, the next thing you can do is turn that shoulder over. See what I did to him there? So, turn that shoulder over, and then the break, instead of going up, can go sideways. And since we're on the outside here, that'll check his punch, right? Now, you can clear this, or you could choose to collapse it and bring his head into the chop. See, so once I turn that shoulder over and snap the elbow, I can collapse the arm and then come back up, or I can collapse it and take them down and arc off, and then put them in place for a knee. I switch to the wrist lock there. Keep your pressure on the back of his head so he isn't going anywhere. All right. All right, so now I can also turn this up to make the break easier. So there, I grab, right, and I rotate, grab, turn, see? Instead of just holding it in place, I rotate it so his palm's facing up. And here, I rotate it so his palm's facing down, see? So I grab and I start to turn, and I can use my shoulder to anchor his elbow, all right? Or I can turn it this way, all right? And see how that's affecting that back shoulder as well. There's the arm break, collapse it, boom, and then I got other things I can do from there, all right? All right, so now, they grab me in two hands. Biggest problem I see is people come across, they grab this one, they don't grab this one, so you can just pull it out and punch me with it. Boom. All right, now remember, practically every technique, and every technique off a grab, assumes you've already made a mistake. You let this guy get close enough to touch you without doing something, all right? You didn't get in the ready stance, you didn't put your hands up, you didn't say, stop, back off, I don't want any trouble. Call you, I need help, call 911. You know, whatever the case may be, all right? All the same things you do for CPR training works for here too. Attract attention, pick someone to call 911, create support people. All right, so now, from here, we need to lock both hands in, so we need to bring his wrists together and then lock them both. All right, so.
A little back this way.
Instead of coming across, see how that isn't grabbed? I'm going to come across with my elbow down and bring his wrists together. See? All right, so I don't reach over, up and over. I come across, then pop, 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 pop. All right, it should be right there. All right, now twin kimono, I'm going to arc off. I'm going to work up the arc. So I'm going to go pin, break, get closer by going from 7 to 5 on the back fist. Then I'm going to go from 5 to 3 on the hammer, and then finish up with the chop. So I'm going to go 7, 5, 330, 3. Okay? All right, so from here, I lock that in, step back, stretch him out, break. Now slide up the arc to 5. That gets me closer to him for the back fist. Arc up again to give me rotational force on the hammer, and then reverse it into the throat. End it however you like. All right? All right, so, any questions on that? What else do we have, Miss Liz?
Still waiting.
Let's go back to our rear choke while I'm waiting for you guys to come up with brilliant questions to ask. All right, so let's go back to here. Now, from here, all right, the first thing you need to do is not get your carotid compressed on both sides so that you're out, or get your windpipe crushed and you're dead. All right, so we don't want either one of those two things. So now, the second thing we have to do is make sure we can keep breathing. All right, so number 1 is blood flow, number 2 is breathing. So I want you to take, if he grabs you with his right, take your right hand, put it inside the crook of his elbow, and pull down hard as you drop your weight. And then duck your chin down. So see, now he's squeezing my chin and not my throat. So I just gave myself the opportunity to fight back for a few more seconds. All right, so from here, I'm gonna pull that down and in. I'm gonna drop my weight. Now I have my elbows. I got my, I prefer again the open palm to the groin, create more now pain. All right, and if you can get out of there, get out of there. I like to grab his wrist at this point because that turns him into a wrist lock as I roll out. All right, so he has me here, down. Now, from here, let's get a little closer. You can roll out, but you can also roll in. You can fire a couple of elbows and palms, grab the wrist. Now, take your left foot, twist stance, and come out. Now I have him in a, again, I'm controlling him with my upper arm and shoulder. I've got him in a lock. And I'm out of there. All right. All right. So basically, from here, I'm going to do an old technique called dancer. Pull this down, elbow pop. Again, I've ducked my chin down to get it inside that grab. Now, that should give me things to do here, things to do. So from here, as soon as you get there, pop, pop, occupy him for a split second and get outside. All right? All right? You don't pause at the halfway point. So the footwork there is step one, step two, untwist. Let me get back a little bit. Step one, step two. 1, 2. Untwist. 1, 2. Untwist. All right? So we can go in and we can also go out. All right, so know both ways on both sides. All right, any more questions, Miss Liz? No questions?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Next. Mr. Chase. As Chase comes in, right? All right, now, the most common street attack is a roundhouse right punch. So that's the first thing you need to take away from your opponent. So let's say you're left side forward. So now, everybody knows when you're right side forward, you can do all kinds of cool stuff like 5 swords. But the problem is, most people are like, well, but I won't be right side forward. I'll be left side forward. Well, that's a good point. You have to be able to do techniques off a roundhouse right when your left side's forward. My personal favorite is securing the storm. Well, that's a club attack. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. As he comes in with a roundhouse punch to the head, boom, I'm going to block it and I'm going to punch him in the face. Right? Now from there, tons of things I can do. The base technique for securing the storm, you roll around, break his arm, cheat back, and then do an L step around him and take him down. Right? So it's 1 and 2 to break his arm. All right? 3, cheat step, so this can make an L and get around. All right. All right. Now, that's great, but let's say that you've decided you're just going to keep going with your forward momentum, which is kind of like what I like to do. So boom, bam, boom, right through. So as I do the first move, what am I in position for? Wham! A knee or a kick to the groin. If he's squared off like that. Now, he threw this, I blocked it, and actually being inside this and blocking it helps him come back with the other side, all right? Because I stopped this suddenly. See? Block this. See? All right. So this is coming in. He blocks it. That actually helps me bring my opposite hand to bear. All right, so hey, look, I don't want any trouble. That goes straight to the arm. This goes straight to the face. Drive the head back. All right. Now hide your head behind your arm. See, if he's coming in with that punch, we don't want to give him any, we don't want to be like this. All right, so just take your head, duck your chin down like a boxer, get the thing down so you don't get knocked out. All right, and hide your head behind your bicep. Now from there, drive up into the strike to the groin and then keep driving him back. All right, you don't have to stop and then pop, fire into the elbow. All right, all right. So from here, 1, 2, 3. You don't have to stop driving them back. I see a lot of Kempo guys who like dance around the guy. Boom, boom, boom. No, it's contact manipulation, not, I don't even know what to call it, non-contact dance around. All right. If I see anybody say non-contact dance around, I'll know that they got it from me. All right, so let's do this from the other side. All right, so hey, look, I don't want any trouble. Wham! Straight in. Okay.
Great shot.
Now, let's talk about checking his zones. From here, if I'm worried about that left punch, I can also take his head to the left. All right, throw the left punch. Yeah, see, he can't get anything on it. He can touch me, you know, but he can't really hurt me. It's not a game of tag, you know, so, and it's not point sparring. So touching it doesn't matter. It's could he have hurt you with it? All right. Now, 1, 2. That prevents that for a split second. All right. Now I can always change it up if I wanted to. Right. But the point is, think about what targets are available and what's the most likely next strike, okay? If you're in a forward bow, you just do the block and punch or palm strike. I like to prefer the palm strike to the face, right? You might go, okay, well, what's the next thing to do? Oh, well, I don't want to really get too close to him, so I'll do a shove scoop kick. Okay. Or I want to get right in on him, so I'm going to get in real tight with the knee to the groin and check him back and drive his head back and forth and elbows, controlling and, you know, whatever. All right, so, but again, once he's on the ground incapacitated, if you can get away, get away. If you can't get away, then you might have to do something to make him stay on the ground for a little longer. So now you have time to get away. All right. Whatever the case may be. All right, so now next thing. All right. This guy squares off. You have no idea if he's going to throw a big roundhouse right or a straight right or some hybrid in between. And I think the hybrid punch is the one that gets most people in trouble. They're really good at defending a straight punch. They're really good at defending a roundhouse punch. But when that thing comes in like a pitcher, 3/4 sidearm or overhanded, you know, it's not coming straight in. It's not coming straight out. It's coming from a little bit of an angle. All right, then you're not really sure where that punch is going to end up. See, if it's coming in round, I could just stand there all day and have my hand in the way, right? And he can't get to my head. But if I'm here and he throws it kind of, yeah, see, that could slide right inside that arm. All right, so now take your, in this case, your right hand, your backhand, and take these first 2 knuckles and put them on your chin. So start here. All right, so if that comes in outside, you got it. If it comes in inside, you got it. You can even step, you know, because it doesn't really matter. So, well, wait a minute, your Kempo rule says when the attack is circular, you move linear. Okay, that's a general rule, right? But there are always exceptions to the rule, and sometimes the exception works just fine. All right, if you're there and you step over to the diagonal, he's going to miss you no matter what. All right, or it comes in round, but you're blocking anyway. You just stiffen that block up and you step towards the strike, maintaining your defense, and interrupt it before it gets fully extended, right? Then from there, you have choices. Okay? All right. So as that punch comes in, any one you want. I don't know. Any way you want. All right. So that's how I would catch it if it ended up coming in straight or 3/4. I got to the outside. All right. This hand, its job is to catch the wrist. This hand's job is to catch his elbow. Hey man, I don't want any trouble. Boom. All right. Now from there, I can grab a hold of him, go up into the eyes, go into an arm bar, crossing talon, right? Watch your foot. All right. Buckle his leg. You know, hook it, back fist, claw the face, elbow, roll around, put him in a wrist lock, take it down, break his arm, whatever from there. All right. So I'm here. It comes in. I have no idea what he's going to do. All right. Get both of those arms up and hide your head behind it. See? So I'm taking my shoulders. I'm ducking my head down. I'm bringing that up to make my head a very small target. Okay? All right. So hey man, I don't want any trouble. right? So even if it's coming in circular, I still got it covered, all right, even though I stepped towards the punch and I moved sideways, you know, instead of in a straight line, I mean circular instead of a straight line. But again, what did I do here? I put myself in a position where I'm in a neutral and he's in a horse stance. I have wide open shots to the body now, all right, and this is still here. So if he comes in with that second one, all right, I can smother that punch. All right, again, your head's down and in. I don't want you doing this with your head up and out, right? It's 1, 2, see, 3, 4. Told you, you can go into different techniques from different places. I just did thrusting wedge off a punch. All right, okay. Next thing, you have to put as much of your body mass as you can against one part of his body. If he's bigger and stronger than you are, you're not going to beat him trying to outmuscle him. You're playing into his strengths, right? Never box a boxer, never wrestle a wrestler, right? If a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu guy wants to fight, I want to do it out on the pavement out there. If a Taekwondo guy wants to fight me, I want to fight in the bathroom. You see, whatever they're good at, take that. That's what you want to take away from them. All right. So standing out here against someone who's got really, really long range, good, powerful kicks, it's not a good place to be. You need to get inside that to do them any damage, and you need to crowd them, and they're not going to like that. All right. So you got to keep them back, keep them in the best distance for you, not play into what's the best for them. So there's a lot going on. It's not just two people standing in front of and who hits the other guy the more. There's a lot of really significant tactics and strategy involved. All right, so protecting yourself from that right. This hand takes away the circle, the circular roundhouse punch. This hand's here. All right, you're locked in. Get outside of it if you can. Right. All right. Now, once you get into position from the punch, so we're here, and he throws it, and I get here. All right. So now, what is our goal? We want to get a hold of him, all right, and manipulate him. We can manipulate him by shuffling in and checking him. We can manipulate him by grabbing his wrist and pulling this arm, right? Especially if you think that a right roundhouse kick maybe is coming right behind it. Boom! And he comes up right and takes that right into my kidney, right? So I'm here, pop. I need to check him down to force that foot back down to the ground before he lands a kick on me. All right, so same thing, even from here, you can arc, again, to put him, see how I did an arm bar and put him on 3 points, right? If he's on 3 points and I'm holding point 4, he's got nothing left to hit me with. If he needs 2 legs and 1 arm to keep from face planting, then I've put myself in a very good position. All right, so as you can see, I'm really working my diagonals here. So what did I do that time? As the punch came in, I arced, all right, to change my angle to him. Right. I'm in a really good defensive stance, and he's wide open right now. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Okay. So you can, as that punch comes in, you can go in the same direction as it. So again, generally the rules are good. You know, when the attack is circular, you move linear. When the attack is linear, you move circular. That's a very good general rule. But can you go circular against a circular attack? Absolutely. All right. Can you go linear against a linear attack? Not as well, without going straight back. But you can absolutely go forward and make him miss you as you're coming in. Yeah. All right. So these are generalizations. They're not absolutes. All right. So now, you know, I'm here and I'm looking at that shoulder, and as soon as it moves, I don't know what kind of punch he's going to throw, I go back to this diagonal. All right. Now again, he's all crossed up. He's pointed in the wrong direction, and this is out of range. All right. But I'm not out of range for the kick. All right. So if you think about controlling distance, all right, you have an idea of what you want to do. Now, it's not etched in stone. You just have an idea. If this punch comes in, I'm going to go this way, and then I'm going to kick him. Well, what technique did I just do? Checking the storm. All right, I go this way, and I'm going to kick him. What technique did I just do? Thrusting salute, right? Well, wait a minute, thrusting salute's off a kick. It doesn't matter. It could be a roundhouse punch. 1, 2, 3, it's fine. All right? All right, so if I control that distance, he throws whatever punch, I don't care, right? My defense didn't change, all right? But I'm now off the plane of attack, all right? So I've taken the old plane of attack, which he used to be on, and I've created a new plane of attack, which he's not lined up for properly, all right? So if this was the old plane of attack, I'm gonna go boop, so this is my new plane of attack, and he's still on the old one.
You okay?
All right, so being that he's on the old one, he's attacking in the wrong direction. All right. That's always a good idea, is to get him swinging where you're not. All right. Questions? It's awfully quiet out there. All right. So now that I have plenty of room today, I'm going to do scraping hoof with the prefix and the extension. All right. So we're going to start up nice and close. So Chase puts me in a full Nelson. Again, I've made a mistake. I let some guy come up behind me and grab me, so my awareness failed me. All right. Now let's turn sideways. Now, first thing, if this guy knows what he's doing, he's going to be on the back of your head, not your neck. And he's going to be pushing it forward to stretch out all these tendons in your back, cause you pain and permanent damage. You're going to take your hands, put them here, and you're going to pull them back. All right, so as he's pushing forward, you're using the back of your hand and you're using both arms to pull your head back. And then you can drop and then headbutt him in the face. All right, so from here, he's pushing you forward, you push back. Now see how I dropped down to my knees while I did that? All right, now, if he's back here but he's not pushing, then I don't have to go right to that. I can hit him in the eyes with a dragon fist. So I'm doing that middle knuckle strike, and then drive his head back and then headbutt him in the face. All right, that's when I go into the base technique, hook, side, stump. Now from there, that same foot is going to buckle out his far leg as I strike the groin. Then I'm going to shoulder charge him back with a front crossover. I'm going to hook this, and see the pressure on the knee, and I'm going to take him down. All right? All right. So let's back up a little bit. Let's move this way. So we have lots of running room. All right. So he's got me. I set. I hit him in the face. I drive my hips back. I headbutt him. I hook kick his knee. I side kick the other knee. I stomp. I buckle this knee out as I strike the groin. All right. I can even do an eye spear here as I cross over. All right. This hits the groin as I did my front crossover, and I do a little shoulder charge. When I step, take the curve of your instep and put it right on his heel. Okay. Now I've got his ankle hooked. So now when I drive forward, he's going to go down. See that? All right. All right. So now,
I don't think you have to be that far.
go ahead and, I don't want to hurt your knee, so go ahead and go down.
What?
I'm going to take, when I do the
Oh,
1, 2, 3, pivot, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, cross behind and stomp the groin. Boom. All right, so that should get him to his head to pop up, and then rear kick him in the face. All right, so let's do that in the air. Ready? Punch him in the eyes, drop your hips back into him, headbutt him in the face. Pivot, hook kick his left knee, side kick his right knee, stomp his instep. Buckle his left leg, strike the groin. Cross over and drive him back. hook behind his right leg, take him down, left stomp to the groin, left rear kick to the face. All right, so ready? Punch, sit, headbutt, pivot, hook kick, side kick, stomp, buckle and hammer, cross and drive back, hook behind his heel, take him down, stomp the groin, kick the face. All right, and one more time. Punch, sit, headbutt, hook, side, stomp, buckle and hammer, cross in front, hook, take him down, stomp the groin, kick the face. All right, so that's the prefix, the base technique, and an extension. All right, questions? Miss Liz, you have any questions?
Nope.
All right.
3 minutes until the 12:30.
All right, guys. So good work today. Keep practicing your stuff. Write down any questions that you have about your material or anything you need to go over for your test. I don't read minds. I have many skills, but reading minds isn't one of them. I want to make sure that each of you is staying on time target for your next belt test, even though we're not getting to meet in person because we're social distancing and being very responsible human beings. All right, so horse stance, attention stance, and bow. Thank you guys, see you next week, or I'll see you Tuesday night on Zoom.
Yeah, so I'm just going. I can't turn it off. I'm not messing with the volume. So we're still live. I'm just giving it. Just closing the lid for a couple minutes. Hey yo. Hey. You have 6 watching,
Hi guys.
so these might be dual for the 12:30.
Don't worry. If you're still here from the advanced class, that's great. Hang on, keep going. If you're just signed on, please let me know that you're here, so I know who I'm teaching, so I can make sure that you get what you need for your next test. Take 1 minute, get a drink of water, go to the bathroom, do whatever you need to do, and we'll be ready to start in 1 minute. How many people do I have now? Gotta keep me posted.
Can't see what the last.
Don't want to go around the other side.
6 watching.
Hello, 6 watching.
Elena is here.
Hello, Elena.
Nikki and Tommy are here.
Hi, George. Hi, Nick and Tom.
I think you can start the 12:30.
All right. Salutation. Attention. And bow. All right. So let's get into defensive stance. So I want you to pivot through a transitional forward bow. Do a nice easy kick to warm up. Boom. Now remember, every kick has a knee built into it. So boom, you're doing your front kick. It's knee and then extend. Pivot, knee and extend. Pivot, knee and extend. Pivot, knee and extend. Pivot, knee up, extend. Pivot, knee up, extend. Okay? Do 10 of those on each side. The creature from behind the screen. That's just Miss Liz. It's not a creature.
Ready? No, you're supposed to go with it.
Oh.
Come on, ready?
All right. Don't quit your day job, right? All right. So let's start out horse stance now. Overlapping circles, alternating sides. So one's on the inside, the other one's on the outside, in and out. Reverse direction. Let's get both hemispheres of that brain working simultaneously. Good. Now let's outside in. And inside out. And figure eights. And reverse direction. Other hand, figure eight. You can have this up loaded cover, you can have it chambered. And reverse direction. All right, everybody warmed up? Okay, let's start out in a forward bow. I want you to pick your knee up, and I want you to drop a side thrust kick knee high. So from the front, you're gonna bring your knee straight up and let your hips turn through into a side thrust kick. Bring your knee up and then twist through into a side thrust kick. Bring your knee up and then pivot and make sure that that kick is going nice and straight and it's not looping in like a roundhouse kick. So it comes up and out, up and out, up and out. All right? All right.
My hip is tight today.
All right. So you haven't turned your plant foot yet. And this is up and this is chambered, ready to go. And then you drive that hip forward and turn that heel. So you have a nice straight kick. All right. All right. Have we had anyone else join?
We have Nikki, Tommy, Elena, and Emma.
Hello, Emma. Hello, Will.
Will is, hopefully he's watching from his mom's house.
Oh, where's Emma? All right.
Emma's his dad.
Okay, so ready? Let's do a front kick, roundhouse kick combination. All right, so pivot through a forward bow, fire your front kick, plant in a forward bow, rotate on the ball of your foot, fire your round kick, plant in a neutral bow, generally. All right, okay. So knee up in front, knee up and round, knee up in front, knee up and round. All right, okay. Now, you guys who are like blue and green belts now, once you do your front kick and plant forward, instead of picking this up and then just kind of trying to turn it with your body, I want you to take the foot that's on the ground and take that heel and shoot it forward. All right, so we do our front kick, we plant, now shoot that heel forward. All right, so that the power is coming from the ground all the way up. So don't just turn that way, you won't get any power in the kick. You're going to kind of be like a spring, coiling and uncoiling very quickly. Kick, plant, and then uncoil. All right, all right. So do that on both sides. I'm going to do it from straight ahead here. Front kick, plant in a forward bow, rotate that hip and plant in neutral. All right, so why would I plant in neutral? Because that's my basic stance. All of our stances are transitional except for our modified neutral bow stance. Our neutral bow is our default stance. If we're not in any other stance for any particular reason, we're in a neutral bow. All right? So as you're practicing, you're always thinking about, what am I going to do next? It's not boom, boom, well, I'm done. It's like boom, boom, now what? All right? So generally, 1, 2, I'm in a neutral. I can go forward, I can go back, I can go left, I can go right. You know, I have choices. Right? Now let's say that I want to follow this up with a counter punch. I go 1, 2, punch. See? I need the width in that base to throw that punch. If I was here, whoa, I'd be all crossed up. So that wouldn't work out too well for me. All right, so front kick, roundhouse kick, plant and punch. All right, let's throw in a back fist as we land. So front kick, roundhouse kick, back fist as your foot touches, punch. All right, so you're coming forward, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so I'll do that sideways. 1, 2, 3. That happens at the same time. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, do that 5 times. Do we have any questions? What's our student count up to, Miss Liz?
6.
6? Okay. All right. Now, let's think about what else we can do. Now, what we're going to do really depends on how our opponent moves. Let's say he keeps backing up from us. So if I go 1, 2, he backs up, he may be out of range for a back fist punch. So what am I going to do? Oh man, how about a shuffle side kick? Hey, that might be good. So we go 1, 2, but now where should I put my foot down to maximize my shuffle side thrust kick? Well, probably 12, not 11 or 10:30, because now I have I have to shift my hip as I shuffle. But if I plant sideways already, then my hip's already shifted, see? If I'm here, my hip's at this angle. If I'm here, my hip's already at this angle. All right, so this only has to go a teeny weeny bit. So whenever we can save ourselves a few fractions of a second, that's a good thing, right? So we go front kick, round kick, we see him backing up, plant to 12 because 12 is the apex of the circle heading towards him. That's the closest point we can step towards the bad guy, and then shuffle up the door, side kick. All right, so front kick, roundhouse kick, plant to 12, shuffle side. All right, so do that a few times. Front kick, roundhouse kick, shuffle side, and again, front kick, roundhouse kick, plant, check your stance. Did you accidentally plant in a neutral bow, or did you plant in a really good side horse stance? So we're planting directly to 12 o'clock this time to set up our next strike. So front kick, roundhouse kick, plant to 12, shuffle side kick. All right. Well, what else could we do? Well, let's say the guy backs up really far. Well, then we're going to have to do a crossover rear kick. So now if we're going to do a crossover rear, 1, 2, I could step to 12. That'd be okay, but it'd probably be even better if I stepped to 12:30, because now this has a direct line with the target. I've gotten my front foot out of my back foot's way, see? So instead of here, where I have to go over it, here, see, I have a straight line to the target. All right, so in this case, I go front kick, round kick, plant to 12:30, crossover rear kick. All right, front kick, roundhouse kick, cross over, shift your weight, rear kick, and cross right back out of range. All right, practice that 5 times. Go.
Questions?
Elena would like to know where Bob is.
Bob is at my house.
I did tell her that.
When we Zoom classes on Tuesdays, everybody gets to see Bob. He is in my living room,
Well, dining room.
dining room, yeah, whatever. We have a non-traditional floor layout in our house. Okay, so if you need to cover distance, you cover distance. If you don't need to cover distance, you don't cover distance. So the first combination you learned off of this was your spinning rear, right? Front kick, roundhouse kick, plant off one step, pivot, and now you're in position for a rear kick, all right? So now, in addition to be able to do front kick, round kick, spin, rear kick, you need to be able to do front kick, round kick, back fist counter. And you need to be able to do front kick, round kick, shuffle side. And you need to be able to do front kick, round kick, crossover rear. All right? All right. So work those as well as your spinning rear kick until you get them all up to a very high skill level. All right. Now, Elena, besides wanting to know where Bob is, do you have any other questions?
I said she had good awareness skills.
Yep, she realized Bob wasn't here. Well, you know, Bob is her boyfriend.
Oh yeah?
Hmm?
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh. She's a couple. He's a boyfriend of a couple of
Yeah, I know. I told her that she's got a lot of
Competition?
competition. Yeah, thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. All right, so putting your feet in the right position is a very important part of defending yourself. All right, and it's very easy to find yourself out of position. So you have to practice it and get just as good at it as you are at like riding your bike, or if you're an adult driving your car. You know, you have to be able to be multitasking. You have to be working the pedals, you need to be steering, and you need to be looking around you all at the same time, right? So if you're accidentally in a side horse stance, but you think you're in a neutral bow, that's a problem, okay? We always know what stance we're in. We should never be like, oh, because you didn't know what stance you're in, all right? You are only ever in a stance on purpose. It's never an accident, okay? All right, you always are exactly where you intend to be. All right, so if you train and force yourself every time you train to be exactly where you're supposed to be, guess what? Soon, that'll just become your normal, and you'll always just be where you're supposed to be. All right. Let's go through a couple of techniques then. All right, let's start out with crashing wings and spiraling twigs. Okay, Mr. Chase, I'll be needing you. All right, so crashing wings is our base technique for a person comes and grabs us from behind and our arms are free. All right, now why are our arms free? It could be because he tried to grab our arms and pin them at our side, and I got them out. Okay? What? You were surprised though, weren't you? Yes, he was. All right, so as he went to grab me, I dropped. Okay, he was outside my arms, and I dropped and I pulled my arms forward, see, to get them. This is a much better place to be than this, okay, right? So I'm trying to minimize his advantages right off the bat. So as I feel him come in, now if you guys could see what I did, as I dropped my hips back and I pulled my arms forward, see, and then I can go around from there. All right. So now number two, let's say I'm like he's got a friend. And I'm like, hey, I don't want any trouble, and his buddy grabs me because I made the mistake of not thinking there might be more than one of them, which I see people do all the time. They stare down the one bad guy they know is there, and they don't scan to make sure he doesn't have any friends. All right. Now from here, I'm gonna pin those arms. I want him off balance right away. All right, so get low, boom. Now don't do this. Because the next thing you try to go around, you fall on your face. All right, so what happened? What happened? Oh, yeah, see, when I drop, I pin, and I transfer the energy into him from the step. See, and I want him off balance. I want him on one foot. And in fact, if I can go like this, and then just take off, hey, win, right? Okay, so get him off balance. Now, stay low and occupy the space that his knee is in. Do not leave any air and don't just touch it. You must physically occupy the space. So I'm gonna get this foot out of the way so you can see where he is right now. I still have this arm. You see, I haven't let go of it. I still got a death grip on this arm. Now I'm also checking his leg and now I'm ready to elbow the face. All right? Okay, so crashing wings. Let's do it this way. Drop and pin, get him off balance, stay low, occupy that space. Now, start your turn on the elbow. See, so I'm starting to turn left. And hey, where did you go? Oh, come back here. Yeah, I had to do this for real once, and that's pretty much exactly what happened. I hit him, he went flying, and I didn't get the hammer fist him, but whatever. You know, so drop, check, get that foot off the ground if you can, then take this one out. This hits at the beginning of the turn, boom, this hits at the end of the turn. So you don't go like this and stop turning. It's boom, and your partner should end up on the ground. I was just holding him up there. All right, now, spiraling twigs. He grabs me, right, and he locks it up. So now the problem is that I can't really get around him because he's preventing my upper body from getting beside him. So I'm gonna bang him on the back of the hand until he lets go. Now, if the person knows it's coming, one time I was doing this technique and I decided I'm just gonna deal with the pain and not let the guy go. And he hit me about 30 times and then I had like a golf ball sized lump on the back of my hand. And I'm like, yeah, I did it! God, that was stupid. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, can the guy withstand the pain? Sure. But he's gonna pay for it sooner or later. We would prefer it was sooner. But as we hit, it's going to be sudden. So as far as he knows, he just got stabbed with a knife in the back of the hand. How, you know. Now, next thing, pin that elbow. Keep that on, see? I see people let go of the elbow. They go 1, 2, 3, bum, 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 and then they're like, la-di-da-di. Well, that's not gonna work. So, boom, bum, bum, bum. All you've done is hurt his hand. He's not incapacitated, all right? But as soon as he lets go, see, you've got to put him in an elbow lock. And then, let's turn this way. From the elbow lock, you grab the wrist, and then you apply the wrist lock before you let go of the elbow lock. And you just work the lock up his body. Boom, kick to the face as many times as you need to. Break the wrist, whatever you want to do. All right, so spiraling twigs, drop, oh, bang, bang, bang. All right, keep the pressure on the elbow, grab the wrist. Now, your fingers are going to be way down here near his wrist, and your thumbs are going to be way up here near his knuckles. All right, you push your thumbs forward and you pull your fingers back. All right, boom, puts him on three points, like he's ready to rush the quarterback, and then he doesn't have anything left to hit me with. Yay! All right, now, squatting sacrifice for you green belts. All right, same thing, we go here, but now he's too wide, you can't get around him. I'm gonna sit on his thigh, grab his heel and take him down. Lock that, I don't want this happening, so lock those knees together. Put this on his heel, grab across the bottom of the foot this way, stomp kick to the groin. Now, in all reality, you blast that guy with a really hard stomp to the groin, you might just be able to take off and get away right there. Always be looking for an opportunity to exit the situation, all right? So, boom. Now, from here, you're going to let go with this knee. And as you do, you're gonna crank this foot over so he can't stick it in your groin, right? So I start to break his ankle. I'm gonna hook kick across the face and plant in a twist stance. See how that checks that leg? And then as I continue turning, I'm gonna break his ankle, you know, and then if the pain is significant, he's gonna go with it, and he's gonna land there. Now you'll notice my right foot is between his legs. I'm gonna step up his body, drop my shin on his tailbone, punch to the back of the neck, you know, and then I'm gonna get out of there. All right? All right. Well, what if he's really wide and you can't get around him and you don't think sitting's gonna work? Well then, pin, drop, and buckle that out. Then you can probably turn from there. So, right, step and pin. Now take this and do that buckle. Now, if his leg goes back, look where his head went. Boom. All right? So I have that elbow right there. Then if I can keep turning, bam, boom, then I can get out of there. All right? So if you can't go around him, you got to go through him. All right? So the first one, just the footwork, we went 1, 2, 3. Okay? So crashing wings, we step to a horse, bring our feet together, and then step behind it. On spiraling twigs, I went step, and then I brought my left to my right, spun in place, and stepped back with my right. All right? So I went initial step out, bring my left over, turn, step back with my right. All right? Then in squatting sacrifice, from here, I just sat, and I'm being nice because I don't want to hurt Chase, but you would really drive that back, right, as far as you can. All right? And then on the next one, which is basically squeezing the peach, right? Drop, buckle, right? Pop, 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 right? So you have his groin and his head from there, all right? Now, in techniques, we always show one strike and then we move on to the next thing. But 1, 2, 3, 4, it's okay. You may have to hit that same target a couple of times, all right? So don't feel like, well, I already hit him there. I can't hit him there again. Well, because there's a Kempo rule. Now again, Kempo rules are generalizations. They're not etched in stone, okay? And one of the Kempo rules is you never hit to the same place twice because the bad guy will hold where it hurts. So if I do a back fist, I'm not gonna be able to punch him in the head, like if I have gloves on, because his hands are gonna come up and protect his face. So you go high, low, high. Okay, and there's some validity to that. But on the other hand, boom, boom, we do combinations to a same target area all the time, all right? All right, so just remember that. All right, any questions on crashing wings, spiraling twigs, squatting sacrifice, or the beginning of squeezing the peach? Remember, I just teach them, I didn't name them. All right, let's do obscure claws. Now, if anyone else has any questions, please send a little message to Miss Liz so we know that you have a question so we can help you. All right, so what did I say?
Obscure claws.
Obscure claws is a shoulder grab. Now, if a guy grabs your shoulder, he can basically do one of three things. He can push you, he can pull you, or he can hold you in place. All right, so if he tries to push you, push, and just keep walking forward, then this is not a good technique to attempt, all right? Because he's pushing you forward when you're trying to go back. So you're fighting him strength for strength. If he's pushing you, give me a really good push, you go with it. All right? All right. Now, having said that, if a guy's pushing you, he has created a line of tension, right? So you can't fight him on that line of tension. You need to change it. So you ready? Give me a good push forward. All right, and do it again. What happened?
You went down.
Yeah, and you went over, right?
Yeah.
So I changed the plane. His tension is at my shoulder. So if he pushes me really hard, see, and I drop down, see what happened to his hand? It went sliding off forward. So you change the tension line by changing your height. Then from there, all right, you can do whatever. So now, in obscure claws, he pulls me back. So a lot of times a person will be turning you so they can punch you. All right, so the first thing, as soon as we get turned, we have to protect our face. So those hands have to come up and shield. All right, so first they shield, then this goes through the eyes, all right, and then comes around. This can pin his hand or be a pinning check or a positioning check, and then we're going to step forward and pop his shoulder out of the socket and maybe break his elbow. Then we're going to back fist to the body, and now we're going to C-step, boom, and use the step to back fist him in the back of the neck and pull his head forward. All right, now as soon as we start to pull that forward, this hand is going to do a 2-finger whip to the eyes. All right, and then we're going to drag your fist to the throat. Now, you know, I've seen it done this way, I've seen it done this way, you know, whatever. Whatever works for you, I'm fine with. All right. All right, so here comes the pull. I protect. Hey, look, I blocked his punch and got his eyes. Hooray! I'm going to leave that. Boy, I'm going to break that. I'm going to do a little back fist. This isn't going to do much, except hopefully just cause him a momentary pain, occupy his mind with pain for a split second, so he doesn't think to do something else like try to get free. Then as I step forward, I pull that head forward and then I stop it suddenly. So it's yip bump, see? And then as his head snaps back, dragon fist. Did I get your?
Yeah, just hit me there. Don't hit me there.
Yeah. All right. So, and in practice, you always hit the target, right? So, boom, and then get the heck out of there. All right. So let me do that from the side one more time. Step back and double claws. Wrap around, step forward and break. Back fist, step back fist, whip the head back, and dragon fist. All right? All right. So that's obscure claws. And then the other one here for Elena is destructive twins. So two-hand lapel grab. All right, now again, if this guy is pushing me back, I'm not going to try to do this technique. If he's pushing me back, I'm going to do twin kimono or kimono grab, right? But if he's holding me in place or pulling me forward, then I can do this. So as he grabs and pulls, I'm going to punch him in the nose and the solar plexus, riding parallel rails, right? Then this shoots down, blocks that. I inward block and outward block to cross him up. All right, see how I pivoted from a neutral bow to a forward bow to get a little bit more forward momentum? Then I poke him in the eyes, drive that head back, and punch to the ribcage. All right, let's do it from this direction. All right, so I step in, double punch, hit down, in, out. So I have him back on his heels. I'm in a really good forward bow stance. Turn that over into the eyes. Now he's really back on his heels. And then boom, punch in to that floating rib. And then get the heck out of there if you can. All right, if he's still up, you may have to hit him some more times or do a takedown. All right, so Elena, that's techniques from your list. Any questions? Will, Emma, do you guys have any questions on anything from your list? How about you, Nick and Tom? Any questions? I know we've been seeing a lot of each other, so we probably already went over everything of yours. All right. So we did crashing wings. You guys are all pretty good at grip of death by now, I think. All right, 5 swords. All right, let me teach you guys the second half now. Mr. Chase, I need you. All right, so we have 3 ways of facing up our opponent, right? Right side forward, squared off, left side forward. All right, technically there are 4. This being number 4, but we're going to pretend that doesn't even exist because why? Okay? The only time you turn your back on the person is when you're doing a spinning rear kick, crossover rear kick, spin back, right? You're hitting him. That's the only time you turn. And in a real life situation, probably turning not the best idea, okay? People get away with it and do lots of cool stuff in the ring and in the octagon with spins, but for real life, you probably don't want to turn your back on a bad guy unless you're very, very confident in your ability and you have a very high skill level, or you really don't have any choice because he started to turn you and you want to send yourself into orbit. Okay, so as what was I talking about there? What technique are we doing? Did I tell you? All right. So wait. I know. It was. Hey, I'm getting old. What can I say? Oh, 5 swords, right? So
The extension.
five swords is a right side forward technique. So we can start square, which why would you? If a guy is coming up and he's like this and looks like he's ready to fight, why would you be standing like this? That's a really bad plan. All right, well, I'm just waiting for him to throw so I can react to it. Okay, well, I hope you're really fast, right? Because I've seen lots of guys get knocked out on videos where they're standing there like this, in range, with their hands down. So no. So your hands are up. Now, to do 5 swords, you have to have your right side forward. All right, so you can't really do it from here. All right, so as that roundhouse punch comes in, you're going to block it. But now you have to worry about that. Now it's going to take him a split second to turn that over. So this is going to slide down, hit the side of the neck, start driving him to the left. All right, and then you're going to palm strike. And then you're going to punch, and he starts to bend over. Now from here, all right, this is where the fun starts. This is probably the hardest move. Like, this is such a difficult move. All right, so you're going to arc off, but as you arc, all right, so your left foot is going to go behind you as you arc. As you do that, your upper body is going to turn in the opposite direction. So your lower body is going counterclockwise, but your upper body is going clockwise. See? So, boom, boom. And from the punch, this hand is going to be on my shoulder, and I'm going to drive his head back with a thrusting knife hand to the throat, or across the bridge of the nose if I can't get to his throat if his head's down. All right? Now this is here, protect me. Hold your arm out for a second. See how I'm checking that? Don't let this happen, because then he can hit you. All right, so from there, now this is from the thrusting knife, as I pivot, this is gonna hit the throat, the side of the neck, and come all the way through. It's not gonna hit and stop, it's gonna hit like an axe, a headman's axe, goes right through the neck. It's not going to stop until it hits your rib cage, and then you'll notice I'm in a neutral low. All right, so I did my base move, 1, 2, 3. All right, now let's turn this slightly. No, just. All right, now from here. All right, just so they can see what I'm doing. I'm going to arc off, and what did I just do? I just put myself in a nice fighting stance to his wide open horse stance. All right, so I'm gonna improve my angle by keeping me in a nice defensive position while squaring him off, right? I said this is not really where you want to be. Well, that's right where we put him, see? He's nice and square. All right, so let's start from the punch. 1, 2, 3, drive that head back so he can't put any power into that left hand, punch to bend him over, and stand him right back up as you arc off. Arc and rotate. This is up here to protect against that hand. Now, you're gonna have, you'll notice I'm in a forward bow right here. Now I'm in a neutral bow. Now I'm in a reverse bow. And I kick. Okay? All right, so use your stances. So let's just go through the stances. All right, so I do my first block, I'm in a neutral. I do my chop palm, I'm in a forward. I do my punch, I'm in a neutral. I do my chop, I'm back to my forward. I do my chop, I'm back to my neutral. I do my chop, I'm in a reverse, and I kick. All right, so you're going neutral bow, neutral bow, arc off, forward bow, neutral bow, reverse bow, and kick. All right, so use your stances. All those times we're like, forward bow, neutral bow, reverse bow, close nail, reverse bow, neutral bow, wide nail, neutral bow, forward bow, close nail. They're not just for taking up class time. we use them in the techniques for power because we have 3 power principles, right? Linear motion, axis rotation, and marriage of gravity. So we can drop our weight, we can move our weight forward, or we can rotate it, all right? So what you want to do is to maximize power is to use all 3 power principles whenever possible, all right? So you'll notice we're changing our height a lot on this, and we're also changing from neutral forward, neutral forward, neutral forward, neutral forward, all right? Because pivoting from a forward bow to a neutral bow is probably the single most important skill to have, you know, for offense when it comes to martial arts and self-defense on the street. Also, funnily enough, rotation, pivoting, is one of the first things that stops happening under adrenal stress. So as soon as people get scared, their hips stop pivoting and they just stop and they stay in their spot, and everything becomes an arm punch. All right, so you need to work that so that even under adrenal stress, all right, that your hips will automatically pivot, which is why I'm always on you guys. Turn those hips, turn those hips, turn those hips. Get in that forward bow stance. Because under stress, it naturally won't happen. You have to train it so that it just happens automatically without you thinking about it, all right? So you're not holding back on the rotation because it's an unconscious thing that you do, all right? It's not a conscious thing. If you consciously have to think about pivoting, which may be where you are right now because you're working your internal focus. What's my body doing? How am I pivoting? Am I pivoting on the balls of my feet? I'm not pivoting on my heels. Am I? Are my hands up? Should I turn my head? Excuse me. So you have all those things to think about when you first learn something. But when you do it, boom, boom, pop, 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 right? It should all just pop out. You shouldn't have to think about it. It should just be part of what your body does. All right? So if you train correctly, you will perform correctly, right? I always tell you guys, practice does not make perfect. Practice makes permanent. If you practice something wrong or badly, you are training yourself to do a wrong, bad thing. So perfect practice makes perfect. Do it right the first time, do it right the second time, do it right the 1,000th time, do it right every time so your body doesn't know any other way to do it. So your body will automatically do it when you need it to, and you won't have to go, oh, geez, I have to remember to do that. It'll just happen, all right, automatically, all right? Okay. Questions? Mr. Chase, can you take a look at the screen since Mommy is otherwise indisposed?
No question.
No? Okay. So we did 5 swords, crashing wings for Will and Emma. We did destructive twins, obscure claws, spiraling twigs, and crashing wings for Elena. All right. Now, let's do some techniques for Mr. George. All right, Mr. George. So let's take a look at circles of protection. All right. So, circles of protection is from an overhand right punch. So you're both in a boxing position. So this time you're left side forward, and you're here hitting. I don't want any trouble. And he tries to throw an overhand right to your head. All right. So as that coming in, we're going to get off angle. All right. So if that comes in super slow motion, right, I'm going to move my head. I'm going to change my height, my width, and my depth. All right. As this foot steps up. Now, if when you step off, you step with your foot and then your head follows, you need to fix that to make it simultaneous. Because if that's coming in, whoa, you don't have time to step and then bring your head across. It has to immediately go to a balanced position right on top of your left foot. All right, so you have a straight line from the floor up through your head. All right, if you're here, you're off balance. If you're here, you're lagging behind on the plane of attack. All right, so watch. I'm gonna catch this on the outside. Now, as I drive this up with an upward block, I'm gonna thrust a chop. See how this is still on his elbow? Into his throat. Control that arm until such time as you decide to switch arms, right? So let's change angles, right? So I'm here, hand on the trouble, boom. All right, now from there, this shoots out and catches his throat, and I'm right on his arm. Now watch. This starts his arm moving, and then this goes through his eyes, and then checks that arm as this circles, and I'm gonna take his arm and smack it into his own side. And as soon as I do, my hand's gonna keep traveling, right? I don't stop with it out there. I hit and come right to my shoulder, and as I do, I'm driving a palm strike into the groin. So I slip, I chop right through the eyes, strike the groin, and back fist the head. Shuffles on techniques are done on an as-needed basis, so if you need to do it, you do it. If you don't need to do it, you don't. But first thing, get off, control, chop, control, control, control. All right, so now, I want you to think about where is there a potential problem in this scenario, okay? And so, is the potential problem here? Not so much. Is the potential problem here? Not so much. Is the potential problem right there? Yeah, that's where I think it is. So if you don't chop him in the throat and get this reaction, and you don't whip him through the eyes, so his hands go like that, then he can throw that punch. So you have to be at least, I don't want to say you have to be expecting it, but you have to be aware that it could be coming. Very fine line, I guess. All right, so 1, 2. All right, so that chop should do a considerable amount of de-escalation in him if you really nail that right. Then if you claw through the face, his head goes back, all right, which again, his focus at this point should be coming off of hitting me with his left hand, all right? But understand that if it does come, right, we have to change what one of the or two hands is doing and pick up that strike coming in. So throw the right and then at some point follow it with the left. 1, 2, 3, whoa, see? I had to change that on the fly. Now, having done everything right, 1, 2, 3, see? He's not gonna have an opportunity to throw that left punch, but in the heat of stuff, if he's not checked, all right, you have it in your mind that you always have to be aware of not just the weapon that he threw, but all of his other weapons too, okay? All right. When I used to know a ex Army Ranger guy named Dave, and Dave told me one time that, let's see if I can, all right, so Dave, so here's the thing, John, what you do is you show him this knife, and then you kill him with this one. It's like you get his attention there, and then you nail him with the other one. I'm like, yay, good to know. All right, so what does that teach you? That teaches you that you have to pay attention to what every part of his body is doing. You cannot fixate on just protecting yourself against one thing and getting blasted with the second thing, okay? But again, now, if you did everything properly, 1, 2, 3, 4, he shouldn't be able to throw that. And again, he has no idea what you're planning on doing, right? So, and he has a survival instinct. So he gets chopped in the throat, all of a sudden, hurting you is not as important as making sure he's not going to die. All right, you claw through his eyes. You get one eye, or boy, you get both eyes, and his will to fight is going to be diminished. All right, not to say that some people don't get chopped in the throat and then poked in the eye and keep on going. If they have enough motivation to keep going, they could just keep going. Or they didn't feel it, they're damaged, but they don't know it yet because they're going to be in intense pain, in a minute or two, but it hasn't, because they're anesthetized through drugs or alcohol or whatever, that something really bad has already happened to them. So they're still fighting because they don't realize that something really bad has already just happened to them, all right? So you have to be aware that a person may stop after the first shot, but again, they may not. And we want to make sure we err on safety. So assume, all right, that second shot is a possibility and it could be coming, and you need to be mentally ready for it and physically ready for it, all right? You can't just continue on with the base technique if something didn't work exactly according to plan, because as we all know, the next time a Kempo technique works in the ideal state on the street will be the first time a Kempo technique has ever worked in the ideal state on the street, okay? So we want to pay attention to what we're doing, pay attention to what he's doing, all right? And hit the targets, hit them hard, but always be on the lookout for his next move, all right? He could attempt to grab a hold of you, like a boxer getting you in a clinch. He's getting hit, so he puts you in a clinch. Or he could be backing out, all right? Or he could start swinging wildly to protect himself. People will react different ways to different things, all right? So you can't just assume, oh, well, when I hit him here, this is going to happen, and when I hit him there, this is going to happen. Probably 60% of the time, that's what would happen. But what would happen the other 40% of the time, you see? So, and I just picked those percentages out of the air. All right, so there's a very small chance everything will go according to plan, all right? But there's also a chance that he may be adding more offense, and you better be ready for it, all right? Now, let me show you another quick way to handle that preemptively. Let's just say, well, you know what, John, I just want to make sure that he can't get that second punch off. Okay, so you go one, you go two, and you hit that shoulder. So as that's coming in, you check the shoulder, and then go back into the pattern. All right, so instead of the chops to the throat, boom, boom, you check the shoulder. See, he can't turn that forward now because I'm doing a positioning check. So when he tries that, all right,
It's as far as I can go.
yeah, he's rotating. My hand has created a pivot point. Okay, so as he tries to come forward with that, his other side goes back and he goes off balance. All right, and of course I don't have to just touch it. I'll give him a little force too. So one,
Oh, yeah, we told him.
I guess. All right, so we go one, two, and see where I put him back, right? So he's on his heels, and that's not coming in, and then boom, you can follow up from there. So you can always just choose to, instead of go to the chop to the throat, go directly to the check, and that's fine too. You can say, you know what, five swords as written is very problematic for me because I think I'm going to block, and then as I'm trying to chop him, he's going to punch me with the other hand, and that's a problem. Well, then say, well, you know what, don't make five swords your default. Make fatal deviation your default. So you go 1, 2, and even if he doesn't throw it, this automatically comes up to check it and just say, that's just what I do. Punches or doesn't punch, that's where my hand's going. All right, instead of going to the throat, boom, it's going immediately to check that hand. And that's fine too. All right, okay. So practice it both ways. Think about it while you're doing it. And then after you get really good at it, go, wow, all right, what if? So our first stage of training is learning all the techniques in what we call the ideal state. This is how it would work perfectly, ideally, if everything went exactly this way, which, it's not gonna really happen. It may be a little difference, it may be a significant difference. When I did crashing wings, as soon as I elbowed the guy, he went flying back on the ground, and he wasn't there anymore. I couldn't hammer fist him because he wasn't there. He was on the ground over there. All right, so something is going to go slightly wrong. Now, you guys have already experienced this in class. For instance, Mr. Chase, I'll see, let's do it this way. I'm gonna, you do 5 swords just to do the first move. Right? I see people go like this, right? And they turn all sideways and they take away all the targets. See, he can't really go chop, palm, punch now because I'm all sideways. Well, why do people do that? Because they don't want to get hit. So they're kind of bailing while they swing. But I back in the old days, I used to see videos of fights at the old vet, you know, before they built the new baseball and football stadiums. And there used to be something called the 700 level at the vet. And the veteran stadium used to also have a judge and a court right there in the building to prosecute people during Eagles games. You know, because people would drink too much and they would get into fights and start. But this is how they would fight. Because they're simultaneously trying to punch and keep their head out of range of the other guy all at the same time. All right? Which is, boy, if someone attacks me, I hope that's how he does it. You know, that'd be great. You know, with my luck, it'll be some guy coming in full, you know, with his weight right where it ought to be for maximum power and knockouts. You know, but anyway, I digress. All right, so if that comes in, and I'm going to punch you now, and the guy turns way sideways, well, you can't continue on with 5 swords. You have to do something different, all right? Because you don't have good targeting anymore. So what might you do? All right, you block it, and then you probably just pick up your foot and roundhouse kick him and go right into delayed sword because he's sideways now. He's out of position. All right, so I see the same thing on thundering hammers. People will do the punch. Hey, that's not thundering hammer. So and they'll turn like this, and they practically have their back to the guy. You know, which makes it very hard for your partner. So when you train, you have to, you know, be a good dummy and give them an ideal state first. And then once they're really good at the ideal state, then you go, all right, now what are you gonna do? And they're gonna have to change it. Now, if what's the benefit to him if I turn all the way sideways like that? He is like already behind me. Yeah, go right into backbreaker or whatever, right? So you can just segue right into the next thing, right? Because he put himself out of position for a follow-up, but you're like, well, I can't do the verbatim technique. That's okay. See, that's what ifs are for. What if he's so sideways? Well, then just segue into a different technique. Just go from here and just scoot over to the next tangent and follow that to the end. All right, that's called grafting. Just because we start one technique doesn't mean we have to finish up with it. We can do part of this one, throw in a little of that one. You know, and you might do 2 techniques or 3 techniques or parts of 4 techniques, and you know, mix and match, and end up with something completely different, right? Okay, so but for you guys who are beginner and intermediates, you are still in the ideal phase. So when you throw it, you are a good dummy, so this person can learn it verbatim properly, and then after everybody is really, really good at doing it that way. Now, a lot of people stop there. A lot of people do it verbatim and then they stop. They're like, okay, they learn the ideal state and then they practice the ideal state a gazillion times, but they never go to the next step, which is what if. And then the third step is formulation, which I just talked about, a bit here, a bit there, grafting. So it's just like formulation, doing whatever is appropriate from whatever position, body position you find yourself in. All right, on the fly without having to think. All right, that's the ultimate level. So I always say the ultimate Kempo guy has forgotten the names of all the techniques, and he's forgotten what extension goes where, and he does. But if you attack him, he'll just do stuff, and it'll look great, and it'll just be right, because he's it's all in his body, even though he doesn't physically remember. What was the 12th move of whatever, salute, whatever. Okay? All right. Let's talk about let's do capturing the storm. All right, so what's the first thing we do if someone pulls out a weapon? If we can run away, we run away. He pulls out a weapon, you run. Doesn't matter if it's a club, a knife, a gun. If you can get away, get away. Most people can't hit the broadside of a barn with a handgun, fortunately. So if you have good distance and you see that gun coming out, you can take off before he has it on you. Just don't run straight at him or straight away from him. Don't worry about zigzagging. Just pick a direction, sideways, get low, and run. Okay? Now, if you can't run because of what you're wearing dress clothes, you're wearing high heels, you're wearing a suit with dress shoes, which don't give you much traction, all right, then running may not be an option. So, plan A, run away. All right. Now, plan B, give him your stuff. If you can't just get away immediately from that situation and he says, I want your stuff, give him your stuff. It's not worth dying for your stuff. All right? All right. Now, that brings us to our three basic situations here. Number one is he has a weapon, you pull out your own bigger, better weapon. He pulls out a knife, you pull out a club, he pulls out a club, you pull out a gun. All right, you have a bigger, better weapon than he does. And you use it appropriately, having controlled proper distance. And now, most people are in just as much danger of having their gun wrestled away from them and used on them as they are to use it, because they are not trained. They're trained on shooting it at a range standing still. They're not trained on what to do in a dynamic situation. All right, how far away the person needs to be for them to get that out, get it pointed, and get some shots off. You know, one of the rules for a holstered firearm is holster the first shot in less than 2 seconds, right? So if you can't control the distance, get your gun out and put it on target and get shots off in less than 2 seconds, then chances are he's going to be on top of you and he's going to be grappling you. And if he's stronger than you, he might get that gun out of your hand. So understand the issues. All right. All right. So he pulls out his weapon. You pull out your own bigger, better weapon. But I don't have a bigger, better weapon. Okay. Then he pulls out his weapon. You pull out a shield. You use your briefcase, your satchel, your backpack, your laptop, whatever you use as a shield to ward off his club or knife. Now, obviously, none of those things are going to do a great job against a gun, which is why if you're there and you're flat-footed and he points a gun at you, give him your stuff. But now if he says, get in the car, we got a problem, because he's going to take you to a secondary location. We cannot get taken to a secondary location. All right. All right. So now, if I don't have if I don't have my own bigger, better weapon, I don't have a shield, then I got to find things to throw at him and keep him at distance. I can't let him close distance. I have to find a way to keep him away from me until I can get support people involved, and hopefully someone will call the police. But here's the thing. Average police response times can be like anywhere from like 3 to 15 minutes, right? Depending on where you are, how busy they are, you know. Let's say they can be there in 3 minutes. Well, you got to protect yourself from this guy for 3 minutes. That's a really long time. All right, when you're fighting for your life, when he's got a weapon and he's trying to hurt you, all right, that's a really long time. All right, so in 15 minutes, forget it. You better prevail in that situation and take him down and take him out long enough for you to get away to safety on your own. They're not coming to rescue you. You got to rescue yourself. All right. That's not to say anything bad about the police. It's just saying there's only so many of them, and they're in one location and you're in a different location. And for the dispatcher, the 911 dispatcher, to get that information to them and get them to where you are takes time. All right. So they're not going to be there in 2 seconds, probably. Maybe you'll get lucky and they were just driving by when they got the call and they're like, oh, I'm right there already. Yay! All right, but let's not count on sheer dumb luck to be the deciding factor in whether we live or die. All right, so number 1, run away. If you have to give them your stuff, give them your stuff. If you have your own bigger, better weapon, you can choose to use it. You don't have to. These are all choices. All right? You have options. You can just choose to not pull your weapon and give them your stuff anyway. Fine. That's fine. All right? Whatever you need to do to keep you safe and alive and healthy and whole. All right? Use your shield, use stuff to throw at them, all right, whatever the case may be. Okay, which brings us to empty hand defense against guy with weapon. All right, so if he pulled that club out, why am I fighting him if I don't have to? If I can keep distance and get away, I don't need to fight him. But if I can't get away, at some point, all right, then I'm going to have to close the distance. As long as he can keep me out here, he has every advantage because he can hit me, but I can't hit him. All right, so I need to get in on him. So, first thing is cover the targets that are going to incapacitate you. If he takes this and drives it into your gut, he's going to be able to beat you over the head with it now because he just knocked all the wind out of you. If he hits you in the head, boom, now you're not thinking straight. And again, you're disoriented, right? So, as with the knife, the safest place to take the shots is on the back of your arm. All right? All right. So.
Past 132.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which technique is it? Just do it once or twice.
All right. So here comes the overhead strike. All right. We're going to do an X block and block it. Then I'm going to grab his wrist and snap his elbow. But hey, man, I don't want any trouble. All right. Step to 1030. Double block. Put your right above your left. Do an X block. Grab his wrist and break his elbow. All right, let's do that from the other angle. So from here, I'm going to block, grab, and break. From here, block, grab, and break. All right, and then we'll add the rest of it next week. All right, good job, guys. Attention stance, core stance. Remember, we're going to be Zooming on Tuesday night for juniors and adults. All right, warrior scholar. Attention and bow. All right. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy.